Bet you're using artificial intelligence all wrong. In this video, I'm going to talk about my do's and don'ts for integrating AI in your digital marketing. Let's start with the don'ts. Number one, don't assume AI is always accurate. I don't know if you know this, but AI can hallucinate and it can produce inaccurate or, in some cases, wrong results. I've had many instances where I've prompted something and it talks about something totally different. One example is I asked about questions pertaining to increasing my social media engagement. And for whatever reason, it started giving me information about proposal questions, how to pop the question. And in no way, shape, or form did I ask about marriage or proposals. It just happens. It's part of AI. It's not perfect. It is very good, and it's amazing how good it can be at times, but it's not perfect. So just know that. Number two, avoid over-reliance on AI for brand voice. Again, we know AI is not perfect. It's also not a branding agency or a marketing agency. So just like you wouldn't rely on it to do everything, there's some things you might rely more on than others. Social media ideas, some social media content, captions. But one thing you don't want to do is put something that's really important, really meaningful in the hands of AI, because ultimately it doesn't know your brand voice. Could it be trained on that for someone who's a little bit more of an advanced user? Absolutely, it could. But again, think of AI as being a launch pad. It's going to give you some really great information, but it's only as good as the information you give it. And through some really in-depth prompt engineering, you can get some good outputs. But for the average person, it's probably not worth it. So again, if you want to use it as a launch pad, if you want to use it for idea generation, or some other things we're going to talk about on the do side, that's fine. But if it really requires something important with a bit of an emotional component or something that really is in the future of your business, I would probably avoid it. Also, number three, know what types of content to use AI for. It's not going to be for everything. Now, it's not going to be able to create a podcast script or a good video script. There's other things like branding it's probably not going to be great at. And even I've seen AI tools that can create websites and social media content. But at the end of the day, it's pretty generic. Now, is it amazing that AI can build these things for us and do that? Yes, it is amazing at the same time, as much as it can be disappointing and very mediocre. Will AI get better? Absolutely it will. But there are some things it's better at and some things it's really not very good at. Also, number four, know that AI can, not always, but can have a potential bias. So if we're talking about things like social causes and politics and news, current events, something maybe pertaining to food and nutrition and workouts, there is a good chance it could be slightly biased. And I don't mean that from a left and right standpoint, but again, just know that it needs to have more information. So if you want to be aligned with the answers, you have to give AI more background information about you, your business, and or what you're looking to achieve. And that is just scraping the surface on how to get the best prompt possible. So those are my don'ts. And I could probably go down the rabbit hole of more and more and more, but as a bonus, one thing I'm going to say is don't post AI content. I want you to marinate on that one for a second because it's important. I see so much content out there that is clearly created by AI that was not modified by human whatsoever. And guess what? Most of us can see it. It feels very sterile. It lacks that human element, as I said. It's filled with emojis, and you know what? No one's reading it. And you know what? You're probably not even reading it. So why are you posting it? And I say that because there's a lot of faceless videos, there's a lot of avatar videos, there's a lot of AI images, and it's just not interesting. It's not compelling. It is the equivalent to cutting corners, and I don't think it's working. I think we're better off creating real humanized content. That's what works. So let's get to the do's. So number one is increase efficiency and scale content. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about repurposing and recycling content. So yeah, there's all kinds of amazing things you can do, like transcribing videos, summarizing videos or blog posts, repurposing that content into social media content, or repurposing a blog post into a video script. And I don't mean script because I don't like scripts, but I mean like bullet points. There's a lot of ways you can recycle and repurpose content, even things that are dated. and make them evergreen. We can get into that in a later video, but ultimately that is one of the ways that you can build efficiency and scale your content in a way that is really going to resonate with your audience. Number two, you can personalize with AI insights. So if you're giving AI more information about your data and analytics, so it could be Google Analytics, could be Facebook Insights, could be something else, you can give it that information to help you understand more about your audience, what they like, and what resonates with them. And again, it's social media, not posting media, not advertising. Social media is being social. So if you're giving them social content that they want, more of what they want, more of what they're engaging with, what do you think the results might be? More reach, more engagement. And what happens when you get that? Platforms reward you with more. You get more follower growth. You get more conversions. So that's something you might be overlooking. Number two, you can test AI in content optimization and ideation. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of what I just said. Talk to AI and tell it what's working and what's not. Ask it about what's trending in your industry, what you could talk about, or how you can repurpose and recycle content. Have a conversation with it in a way that's a little bit more intelligent and robust. And you might find that you're just doubling down on some things that you've been overlooking. Or it might even tell you to stop posting certain types of content that just aren't working. Maybe content you're romantic about and you're like, Chris, I like it. Well, just because you like it doesn't mean your audience likes it. Now, the fourth and final do is adding the human touch to AI. So one of the things I really like is I may ask it to summarize a blog post for me, and then I'll take that and I'll rewrite it in my own words. And the thing that I like is that it gives me a way to start the conversation. It helps me phrase a story in a way that is structured with a beginning, a middle, and an end. It can help me open up with a hook to grab the user's interest. And then I can even add my own little personal story to that. So for example, if we're talking about AI, I can insert a portion of it, how I feel, or something that I saw, or a case study. And I can have AI like Grammarly Premium edit it to make sure that it is properly written. And those are some really great ways you can leverage AI. But at the end of the day, like anything, whether it be podcasting or videos or social media, you're only going to learn by doing. Every at bat, you're going to get better and better and better. And at this day and age, you could say that AI is really great, and it is. But it's not great if you're not using it properly. But also remember, too, that it's only as good as the content you give it. It's only as good as the prompts it's given. So, for example, someone like me, I could get a really bad output. But I, again, have to give it as much information as possible. So think about the who, what, when, where, why, and how. If you give it that, it is likely you're going to get that in return. And sometimes it takes multiple prompts to get back what you want. So I'd love to know what you think. How are you using AI? Have you found it to be effective? And are you following any of my do's and don'ts? Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate the downloads. We appreciate the views. Thanks for following.